Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:52 and Queen on Rock 102.
It is, it's cold out there. I mean, it's like ungodly cold. It's 10 degrees right now.
I got 7 on this side of the room.
What are you looking at? What's the source?
This is the source would be the Weather Channel, I believe.
That's what I got here.
Well, I don't know what's going. This must be rectal.
Must be a different part of Springfield. Anyway, it's going to be cold today with a high of 24. Tomorrow, cold with a high of 33. It's 10 or 7 or 6 or 7 in downtown Springfield.
This is going to be kind of an unusual show today in the sense that we're not only getting through a Friday, and there will be an open line Friday, which you can expect from Linton Septic, but it's also it's in memory of John O'Brien.
An in memoriam segment.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're going to be playing some old bits with John from many years ago, including this one, an old Hollywood trash on Rock 102. How about some Hollywood trash with Steve and Nagel, Rock 102?
Didn't I just say to you guys the other day we don't do enough stories about Carol Burnett?
We don't.
Last week.
Well, anyway, Carol has been awarded temporary guardianship of her grandson because of her daughter's substance abuse issues. She's 87 years old.
Is she
yeah.
really?
It's just
No
kind of
spring chicken, that's for sure.
No, I know that, but 87.
I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine an 87-year-old woman taking care of a 12-year-old kid.
Does she still do that Tarzan call?
I don't think she does.
I never understood the appeal of that.
I would imagine that she doesn't have the lung capacity anymore.
I would think that's probably true. Although if you're yelling at a 12-year-old all day long, you can build up strength.
I don't know. But obviously there's some serious problems there with her daughter to have to take over a 12-year-old at that age.
Maybe that's why she denied coming onto the Mayflower Marathon a few years ago.
Maybe.
Or maybe she just felt she's too old for that kind of thing.
Right.
Probably.
For any number of reasons.
A Canadian man is attempting to break the Guinness World Record by seeing Tenet in a movie theater 120 times. The record is currently held by a woman who saw Bohemian Rhapsody 108 times last year.
You're going to really like that movie to do that.
These are back-to-back, never leave the theater viewings?
I don't know, because it doesn't really describe how it's done.
Right. Could be once a day for 108 days.
This guy, Craig Sharp of Winnipeg, began his attempt August 26 and attended his 15th screening. So he must be taking the tickets and saying, "Hey, I went Tuesday."
He started August 26th, and how many screenings?
15.
Yeah, that's about one a day. Maybe 2 a day.
That's too much.
Of the same film, sure it is. But I mean, there are some movies I could see over and over again and never get tired of.
Yeah, he's on his way to breaking this record. The other lady, it just says she saw 108 screenings of Bohemian Rhapsody in early 2019.
Yeah, this is a stupid story.
Why is it a stupid story?
Because it's a stupid story. Well, once again, you get almost no details, and people are just trying to claim to be famous for something dumb.
Well, isn't that what most people try to get famous for?
Well, when they're trying to break world records, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's a new documentary about Robin Williams' battle with Lewy body dementia called Robin's Wish. Robin's widow, Susan, likened his fight to being chased by invisible monsters because nobody knew it was causing his cognitive and motor issues until after he died. It was a really, really sad interview I watched with her, and how how much he deteriorated towards the end there.
The Lewy body dementia is really a very sad condition.
So it's like dementia, right? Sorta.
Yeah, but it's different, and I can't define the difference between typical dementia and the Lewy body. But yeah, it is different. It's got a whole different kind of pathology to it.
Is she dating?
I was asking myself the same question last night when I was watching her on the interview, going, we both have, similar themes in our lives.
Sure.
We could make this work.
I'm thinking between you and me, I'm thinking both of us.
I'm thinking
just him, actually.
Tyler Perry is officially a billionaire. So is Tyler Perry.
And so is Tyler Perry.
And most of the wealth that he's amassed in just 15 years since the 2005 debut of his first Medea movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. So that's a lot of damn money.
When he negotiates a contract for a film, does he negotiate for every actor, especially if he happens to be every actor?
Including himself?
Including himself?
No, see, when I play Medea, I want more money when I'm playing this part than I am playing any other part in Medea, because I've never seen Medea.
I mean, a guy can play 15 roles in the same film. I would think that's like 15 different paychecks.
Jamie Foxx will star in a sitcom based on his real-life relationship with his daughter, and it has a title I think all fathers can relate to, Dad, Stop Embarrassing Me.
Oh, man.
You Jamie
ain't
Foxx.
Ain't that the truth, huh?
Yeah. Snoop Dogg finally has his own gin. It's called In Doggo, and it's billed as, quote, the ultimate remix of 7 premium botanicals infused with all-natural strawberry flavor. Snoop released the song Gin and Juice all the way back in 1994.
That's back when he had his mind on his money and his money on his mind.
Right, but so I heard an interview with him probably within the last year and a half or so. He never really drank gin and juice.
What?
Yeah, that was a Dr. Dre thing. And
for the love of God, how can we believe anyone anymore?
And Snoop would be the one in the studio smoking weed all day. He was talking about the difference between personalities of people who were on marijuana and personalities of people who were on gin and juice. And Dr. Dre, by the end of the day, wanted to kill everybody in the room, fight everybody.
Yeah.
And then Snoop, who was smoking weed all day, was like, the only thing I want to kill is a bag of Doritos.
You know, when you compare Dre to Snoop, Dre seems the one who is the most hydrated of the two. So I can see where he would have the gin and the juice, whereas Snoop would have something that would dry him out.
I guess so. You drink that much gin, though, you'd probably dehydrate yourself.
That's why you got to cut it with the juice.
I guess so.
Yeah, the juice helps.
A new survey conducted in Britain says 64% of musicians are considering a new line of work because they've lost 87% of their bookings and an average of $15,000 due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's not going to be good for business.
Not going to be good for anybody.
Well, it says it takes like almost 2,000 streams to make a single dollar off of Spotify. Yeah, all that other stuff is really starting to hurt.
The phrase Chica Ferdy appears on the song Sun King from the Beatles' Abbey Road album, and Paul McCartney says it's something the kids in Liverpool used to say in place of F off.
You know what? Speaking of songs and lyrics and stuff, because I just heard about this yesterday. Are you guys familiar with this WEP?
Yes, I mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was, I'm sure, when you said it. Because yesterday I got into an extensive conversation with people about it. And what the hell?
Did you listen to it?
No, I haven't heard it yet.
You should listen to it. And there's actually this hilarious satire on it called, what's it called? Wings and Pizza. It's hysterical.
Oh, that's supposedly another meaning for this this acronym?
Yes, wings and pizza.
Uh-huh.
Wings and pizza.
Well, it sounds interesting.
They're like Fetty Wap?
I don't know what the Fetty means, but I do know what the Wap now means.
You remember Kim Kardashian was getting into those vampire facials?
Oh, sure, yeah. I remember
those
that.
leeches or whatever they
Yeah.
were putting on their face. Well, she has been told by health spas that this cannot happen because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wow.
And, also the increased risk of HIV infection.
Not to mention that, yeah.
She
And she
something
said?
to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I had a vampire facial was when Ray J earned his Red Wings with the Feast on the Yeast in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Mighty.
And all of a sudden, the WEP doesn't sound so
No,
bad.
it doesn't actually.
Caitlin?
Well, I never got that done and dirty with my mother, Chris Kim, but I once gave her the old two-fingered Jones.
You know it's going to be a good one when he starts
The
laughing
old
before you say
two-fingered
it.
Jones, and she put out some knicker gravy.
When he's the one who wrote it.
What are you trying to
What are
say?
you trying to say?
I didn't try to say. I haven't got to the second one yet.
Oh, all right.
We got Captain Yellow Squirt got a full scholarship to Brown. Did you know he was?
What are you
Did you know?
trying to
Did you
say?
know Captain Yellow Squirt was such a great student that he got a full scholarship to
No,
Brown?
I didn't
I didn't
realize
realize
that.
Ivy League.
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I gave her the stringing mushroom to the mouth that came out like an oyster out of the nose.
Okay.
And Kanye?
Laugh, clown, laugh! That's what I say to myself when I dress up like a clown. While I'm riding around in my Raptor and my ranch out in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Such an injustice. Not your Hollywood Tea Rise and Rock.
Go to the fires.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm headquarters before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I can't begin to tell you how many things that the process of aging prevented me from doing when I reached the age of 40. Are you kidding me? 40 is just about the time when I began to feel my age. The age where I began to have difficulty learning all the newfangled technology with their hard-to-see doodads and thingamabobs. 40 is the age when I needed cheaters to read my prescription bottles, an age where I began to make noises and started to complain about the rich food and started saying things like, "Get off my lawn," or "Back in my day." And it was annoying as hell back then, just as it is annoying today. And yet every man over the age of 40 gets there whether he likes it or not. And as of last night, the ravages of aging finally consumed LeBron James of the Lakers. Yeah, that's right. LeBron James has officially entered the realm of the broken-down old man. How? Well, last night, LeBron officially ended his streak of 1,297 consecutive games scoring in double digits, the longest such streak in NBA history. But like every old man, that streak finally hit a brick wall, leaving LeBron to only score 9 points against the Toronto Raptors. And although the Lakers still beat Toronto by a score of 123-120, the big takeaway from last night was that even the great LeBron James is not immune to the ravages of old age. After the game, LeBron was asked if he had any thoughts about ending the streak. His answer, simple. Nope, we won. Yeah, okay. Don't let LeBron's cockiness fool you. At nearly 41 years of age, LeBron is still holding on to the final strands of his languishing youth, consumed with disbelief and denial. I, too, know those feelings. I felt the same way when I was his age. Spry, vigorous, supple, desperately clutching on to a cocksure attitude that could never be defeated by the quiet punishment of time. Well, let me tell you something, young fella. This is just the start of things to come. You've now entered a phase in your life when you could only wish to score 9 points in anything. Prepare yourself for things like regular PSA screenings, gravity, and some digestive issues that you never even dreamed of before. And it all starts now, LeBron, so you better prepare yourself, because it's coming to get you too. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. In these shortest days, why is this the season of light? Because you can get a string of 300 holiday bulbs at Rocky's for just $25. Get 6 foot of dancing LED lit the trees for $100. The Rocky's Holiday Shop, the season of light supply house, is at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm back. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:15, and the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
It's a cold one out there today. Going to be cloudy with a high of only 24. It is 10 right now in downtown Springfield.
Today we're remembering John O'Brien, and I know this is going to be kind of like a long bit, but trust me, it's totally worth it. So we want to get into it right away.
There you go.
Okay?
All right, let's do it.
This is John and me talking to Shirley Phelps from the Westboro Baptist Church.
I love this lady.
This is you do?
I love her antics.
It's Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
So you probably have heard the U.S. Supreme Court went back into session, as they do every year on the first Tuesday of October. They are hearing several cases this year, including one where this group, the Westboro Baptist Church out of Topeka, Kansas, goes to the funerals of soldiers who have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they protest outside of the funeral because they believe that God is killing our soldiers because of our tolerance for homosexuality. In fact, I don't remember how long ago it was, but there was a soldier here in Western Mass that they had planned to come to do that, and then at the last minute they changed their minds.
On the phone is right now from the Westboro Baptist Church is Shirley Phelps Roper. Good morning, Shirley. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks, and thanks for calling.
Shirley, let me just make sure I understand who's who here now. Is it your sister who is the lawyer that was before the Supreme Court?
We're both lawyers, and we were both there. She made the argument.
Oh, okay. All right. So you both
and I'm
appeared.
also a party to this case.
Okay. So you were both at the court.
Right.
I heard one of you, and I don't remember which one of us said, made a comment the other day that I found interesting because I never heard you say this before. You said that if this had been a private funeral, you wouldn't have gone.
Exactly. That's our policy. That's been our practice.
I'm not sure I understand what differentiates a public funeral from a private funeral.
A public funeral is where you get out in the media and you make a bunch of statements, like this man did in this case, where he talked about how many. Here was the question he posed that got him some very specific answers back. How many more of these soldiers' families are going to have to bury their sons before we get out of this senseless war?
Mr. Snyder didn't even know you were at the funeral until the funeral was over, so he didn't make these statements before the funeral. So how did that?
He made many statements. How many more families are going to have to bury their children? He was in the media from the time that child died until weeks after. He, upon his snapping of his fingers, could get those local media over there. And the day after the funeral, when he decided there wasn't near enough coverage, the balance of coverage about his son, he got them back over there, the local paper, and they wrote another big spread about Matthew and all of the family and all the things that they.
All right, and then in your mind, that constitutes it then a public funeral, and that gives you the right to come to it.
No, there's one other thing that makes it beyond. They published to the whole 480,000 people who take the Baltimore Sun the details of the funeral, and in 2 other publications. So a total of 3 different places.
After the funeral,
we were easily able to get the information about the funeral. Sometimes we go looking about the details of a soldier, and the family says, we're not going to make this a public event. We don't want the bikers there, and such as that. And they don't publish the date, time, and location of the funeral.
God knows I will give you credit for almost nothing, but let me point this out also, too. You're never on the property of the cemetery. Is that right?
Never.
You're never on the property.
In the case before the court, again, like you said, they didn't see us because we were more than 1,000 feet away. Furthermore, there were 2 other sets of picketers right on the property, right outside the door of the church. And all the way from the church to the cemetery, the streets were lined with firefighters, citizens, cops. They talk about that we brought the people to come, and that we turned it into a circus. It's already a circus.
So let me ask you.
They're using these things as patriotic pep rallies.
Let me use your philosophy against you. If somebody was to kill your father, and frankly at this point I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, and I came to the funeral and protested across the street, would you support my right to do so?
And outside of our church, we have a little strip of sidewalk that, you can step out of your car. It's in a kind of a residential neighborhood. We wouldn't care if you were there.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
If this isn't about, if you don't have enough, if you don't believe what you're doing in this life is what you're supposed to be doing, so that some people standing outside with a sign can cast you into despair, well, then you better get busy figuring out what you ought to be doing different. I wouldn't give a hoot about someone outside. If I found myself with a dead child, remember, I have 11 children and 45 nieces and nephews. If we found ourselves with a dead youngster, when the promise of God is that if you will raise them in the nurture and admonition of the Lord and obey your God, that he will keep them and they'll have long life and you'll have long life. But if you don't, he says, my promise is I'll cut you off before your life is half over. Now, you're looking at soldiers whose lives have been cut off before they even get started.
This is Shirley Feltrover from the Westboro Baptist Church. The thing that I think is it's hard for many people to kind of grasp. While you may in fact have a constitutional right to make the statements that you've made in the past, most people believe you don't have the moral authority to pass judgment on others, and not just homosexuals.
Wait a minute. Who have we passed judgment on?
Homosexuals,
all we're doing is standing
Jews,
out here telling.
Catholics.
First of all, God says you better judge righteous judgment, and you better judge by my standards. He says, don't you substitute your judgment for my judgment.
But the Bible also says to love your enemies and show love towards your neighbor, whether they're gay or sinners.
Honey, once you get all done pulling together all the love verses that God tells you to do, he's telling you to love everyone, and then he gives you the definition for it. He said the ultimate love, besides don't steal from them and don't screw their wife, he says you warn them that their sin has taken them to hell.
But my
and
question
if you
to
don't
you,
do that, you
but
hate
my
them in
question
your
to you,
heart.
Shirley, is What makes you the judge of that? What makes
and all
you?
we are is the little church that's actually read the Bible, and all we're telling you is what the words say. We're not judging you, except to say, hello, when
And
God
most
says
people,
thou shalt not commit
and
adultery.
most people find
and
that a
Christ
perversion
says,
of what the Bible
hey,
does say.
Speaking of that little church of yours, 80% of your congregants are related through blood or marriage. Is that right?
Do you know how many people were related to Noah that went onto that ark?
Those were animals.
No.
Noah
There were
brought
8
animals on the
people.
ark.
Yes, there were animals, but there were 8 people on the ark.
Well,
Only 8 souls survived that flood, and do you know that they were 100% related to Noah?
All right.
Many of the people that were with Christ were related to him in some fashion. What are you going to say about that? You're going to try to say that somehow that changes the standards of God?
No, I'm going to say that probably other people who have not been brought up in the same surroundings
read
of
the Bible.
your
You need to
deranged
lie to
upbringing. When you
look
have a
at you.
father who
Listen to
has
you.
4 of
So
13
if you-
children that are estranged from him, who beat his children with a paddle,
you know
who beat
what?
his
So now
wife
you're
on a
gonna say
regular
that if you
basis.
spank your
Are you
children,
going to tell
we're gonna
me?
call that
No,
beating.
there's a difference between spanking a
Dude,
child and assaulting
you
a
are
child.
Not, look at you. Look at you.
Let's talk
Look what
about
you're
your
doing
beliefs of
as
children.
A sorry substitute for obey the commandments of God.
Do you
You'll
do you
anything
believe?
except obey the commandments of
Do
God?
you believe that
think
children?
slandering-
Do you believe
slandering
that
my
children?
dad, do you think
Shirley,
that's going to
Shirley,
change God?
shut up! You're a guest on our show. I'll ask the questions. You
Yeah,
speak
well,
when I
quit
ask you
interrupting
to.
my answers.
Your answers are endless. Let me try to say something. Do you believe that all children are out there having sex all the time? And do you prevent your children, your young children, from having friends because they're having sex with each other?
You loser, of course, these children. You just ask one of them. Don't you keep acting like we're crazy. We've been standing on your streets for 20 years every single day at more than 44,000 pickets. They freely offer up and admit when I say, yeah, because you've been taught that if you're not fornicating by the age of 14, you're a freak. They say that's right. Exactly what we've been taught.
One of the things I read in the last couple of days, and I believe this, I really do, believe it or not.
I'm sure you do.
One
hon,
of the
because
things,
you guys will say
Shirley,
anything
you
at least
nut
once.
job, I'm about to compliment you. If you shut up for a second, you'll hear it. I read somewhere the other day that somebody wrote, these are not stupid people, they're misguided, but they are highly intelligent. And
so you're saying if our intelligence directed us to say, believe God, read his words and obey him and believe him.
Yeah,
for
no,
God's
what I
sake.
mean is I believe you can be an intelligent nut job, and I think that's what you are. Have any of you
I
ever
don't
had
care
a
what you think,
psychiatric...
dude. We don't serve you. We serve God.
Has your father or anyone in your family ever had a psychiatric evaluation?
Yikes. I'm sure all you armchair psychiatrists are more than happy.
I'm not
to
making a
give us
diagnosis. I
psychiatric
asked you a question
evaluation.
about whether or not you were
Because
tested.
Honey, look what you've done to yourself. You're a bunch of girly
Do you
boys.
not think that the very military that you're out there protesting against, not this generation of it, but in previous generations, that this military... I haven't finished the question. How can you answer the goddamn thing?
I know what you're...
Do you
think you're the first dummy to ask me if the military hasn't given me the right to stand on the street? Of course they haven't.
Well, that's exactly
God
what I was
gave me
going to
the
ask
right.
you.
We have nothing except what we get from God. Until you wrap your rebel mind around that.
Well, wait a minute. If you don't think that, then why do other countries not have that right? If God gave us the right of freedom of speech,
God gave us the right, you big dummy. He does what he wants to do with his own creatures, and that's the rub. Therein lies the quarrel of his covenant. You think it's about you and what you want, but God said, I will decide. He put us here where he put that First Amendment so that we could be here on the ground in the last hours of the last days of all to warn you that you're crying about your feelings for your sin. No shame.
Shirley,
Going
she's singing
straight to hell on your crazy train.
Does Ozzy Osbourne know that you have desecrated his song and are not paying him royalties?
He does.
He does.
He issued a
Really?
statement yesterday.
Oh, damn.
Didn't you see the? Didn't you know we stood on the steps of the Supreme Court and sang that song?
Yeah.
Just like that to that bank of reporters.
Yeah, he's
and
not crazy about it.
Ozzy Osbourne issued a statement yesterday saying, "Don't you dare think that we agree with them." And they have taken my song and they turned it into a parody that I do not approve of.
Nick,
well, too bad about him.
Shirley, let me ask you this, because you do come from a small church, and I'm not going to criticize a small church. There are plenty of them out there in America.
Yes.
Why is your religion? Why is your church so much different than the beliefs of almost every other church here in the United States who doesn't embrace the philosophy that you have about being anti-homosexual Jews or Catholics. Why is that? Why is there a difference?
I'm going to tell you. You better just let me answer the question if you really want one. Here's the reason. Because Christ said, in the last hours of the last days of all, it's going to look like Sodom when he destroyed it, and it's going to look like the antediluvian world when he destroyed them. Almost no one will believe. In fact, he ends the clause like this. Will he find the faith when he gets back here? Of course, it's going to be a tiny little bit
Shirley,
of people.
I could take any chapter
We
in the
read the
Bible
words, dude.
and
I recommend you
I
do
could
that.
take any chapter in the Bible and find several different interpretations about what was said.
Lie.
If you're going to take
you tell me more than one interpretation for thou shalt not commit adultery.
Why
thou
are you-
shalt not kill.
Why are you
can
the
take a
only
several
one?
interpretation of love thy enemies. You've decided to
No,
tie behind the Bible to
words
justify
say,
hatred.
Read the words. Just that you can make up a definition for anything if
Do
you
you-
don't want to just read the words that God
do
gave
you- do you
He
agree?
said,
Do you
Here's what the words say. I'll quote the verse for you. Don't hate your neighbor in your heart.
Yeah.
Don't suffer their sin upon them, but in any wise rebuke them.
Do you
Love your
agree?
neighbor as
Hey,
yourself.
Shirley.
I am the Lord your God.
Shirley. Do you agree, whether you agree with them or not, with what they say, do you agree at least that there are other interpretations out there? It's a yes or no question.
I agree that anyone will tell you what you want to hear
Okay,
because
all
you
right.
pay them
That's
to do
fine.
that.
Then my next question is, what makes your interpretation
Nobody's
right
paying
and
us to
everyone
tell
else is
you-
wrong?
No one is paying us to read the words and tell you what they say.
No, I
And
didn't
God
ask you
said
that.
his
I
last
said,
act
what
of
makes you
compassion-
right?
You haven't read the words. You're going to be yelling at me for, 15, 20 minutes, and you don't even bother to read the
There
words.
are churches all over the
Would
country
you
that have
go
read the
into a
Bible and
class
do not come to
argue
the
with
same
your
conclusion that
professor
you do.
without having read the textbook?
I don't understand how you people.
Yes, you do.
I don't
You like
understand
it.
how
You don't like it.
people have not been dealt with in a very harsh fashion.
Because the Lord our God watches our backs, dummy. They tried to burn our church down.
Well.
But the Lord our God stops it. They blew up an IED 20 feet from where my baby was sleeping. Do you understand that? My number 8
Well,
baby. They
somebody's
used an
got to have a better
IED.
aim than that.
And God, exactly. But God is in charge, dummy. He watches our backs.
You know,
You're not going to be able to hurt us. His promise is.
I
here's
feel like
the
I'm talking to
verse.
Fred Sanford.
No weapon formed against you will prosper.
You know, Shirley, I believe that you guys will probably win this case
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Supreme
We will.
Court.
Oh, I think you will too.
And you know what?
And you want me to tell you what's going to happen when we win?
Oh, please.
This mob rule, not constitutional democracy rule nation, but mob rule nation, is going to demand that the beast Obama get us out. And you know what?
Shirley,
We're gonna go.
if
Because
mob
if you- and
rule,
if you had
if
a-
mob rule was going to win, you wouldn't see sundown tonight.
No, you don't. You see, you don't get to do it until the right hour. Our job is to bind you. You've got to fill up the cup of your iniquity. When that is done, God will decide. But we see that the time is so very, very short. His promise at the end of that passage about your bestiality, incest, adultery, fornication, and teaching your children that God's a liar, the end of that passage is, by those 5 things you defile the land, and the very land is going to vomit you out. And now, vomit time cometh. And he's showing you Adam Bratius.
I think vomit time is here already.
Shirley, what do
Shirley.
you-
Viewing time.
what do you think
Viewing
is,
time cometh, boys.
What do you think is the best new show on TV this season?
You know what? I am running so fast, I don't get to see the shows.
You
That's-
don't.
That's
Yeah.
too bad.
The only shows I see are news programs.
Yeah.
And I watch Bri, the Cry guy on NBC National.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Shirley Phelps Rover from the
He's
Westboro
got more
Baptist Church.
reasons to squall than you can shake a stick at.
Thank you, Shirley. We appreciate the time. Thank
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
God damn it. I'm in. Oh, it hurts.
If she wasn't so hot.
to Rock 102.
Bax and Nagel
Men are a disgrace.
on Rock 102.
634. We're Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
634?
I know.
Man, that took forever. But a great interview nonetheless.
Great interview.
We got new. We'll tell a joke maybe later. I don't know. what's gonna
Who
happen.
knows? Maybe Monday.
But we got news, and it's coming up next at Rock 102.
638 with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102. It's time for news, and it's brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. is local radio icon Steve Nagel.
It's an Arctic blast smash! Western Massachusetts is bracing for near record-breaking cold temperatures that are happening right now, with single-digit lows and wind chills below zero expected.
I got 6 degrees right now.
You know, last night I got 10 still. I don't know what weather channel you're looking at.
I'm looking at it's a little thing that little widget on my screen here.
I must be looking at the European model. But
leave it to the Europeans to be way off.
Last night we did the early show at the shortstop, like the hour early.
Yep.
Perfect time. More people show up. You know, I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to sweeten the deal a little bit. Coming out of the building, the wind was blowing so hard, and it felt like it was 1 degree outside. It was nasty.
Yeah, it walking into the car this morning really made you feel alive. I'm sure many of you are experiencing that now. You got a car starter? It's the only way to live, man. It's the only way to go about your business.
I don't have one.
Oh, let me tell you how wonderful it is. I was able to get my car started like 5-6 minutes before I went out there, and it was nice and toasty.
Well, you know what it is, Bex? My balls are so huge that I want them to shrink just a little bit, so I have to go outside just for a few minutes. And,
right.
Because they expand in the heat at night.
See, at my age, mine are dangling so low that in a cold day, they go like right up into my throat.
Do your balls hang low?
No, they wobble to and fro.
Can you tie them in a knot?
No, but I can tie them in a bow.
Can you throw them over your shoulder like a continental soldier?
Yes.
Do your balls
hang low?
So, brace for the cold wear. Temperatures have been below average for the start of December, with many areas experiencing their first snowfall earlier this week. Okay, again, back to the oh my God, cold temperatures in December. What will they think of next?
It does shock everybody, doesn't it? Like this would be an unusual thing to happen in December or January.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's very unusual that we have these times of temperatures around this time of year. I mean, it is New England.
It is. This is unusually cold.
Chicopee fire crews were called to a second alarm fire at the Subaki Automotive Facility on Lonzac Street Thursday afternoon. According to the Chicopee Fire Department, calls came in shortly after 3:15 p.m. reporting a fire at 106 Lonzac. When firefighters arrived, crews learned the fire had begun inside a piece of the company's machinery. The building's sprinkler system had already activated and was helping control the flames as responders entered. Firefighters were able to bring the situation under control quickly, and no injuries were reported. Thursday's incident marks the second fire at the location in recent months. I guess there was one small one there back in August. What else? I'm trying to find other stuff. Firefighters worked to put out a fire home on Stony Hill Road in Wilbraham this morning. The fire was located at a residence in the 600 block of Stony Hill Road, just north of the Springfield Street intersection. No information was immediately available from the Wilbraham Fire Department regarding the cause or cause or extent of the fire. And that is all the information that we have.
That's it?
That's it.
Nothing else?
No, other than all facts in this report were gathered by journalists employed at WWLP. Artificial intelligence tools were used to reformat information into a news article for our website. This report was edited and fact-checked by WWLP staff before being published.
Couldn't they just written it themselves?
So, what did you check before you published it? Did you consider to check a fact or more information?
Well,
opposed to
my question is, did any of that process save them any time, really?
No, it would have been the same
because you enter the information, you let AI spit it out, then you got to read and correct what AI got wrong. Seems to me if you just sat there and wrote the story yourself, you could have saved yourself probably a good 4 or 5 minutes.
If AI did this is the same they've been doing for years. There's no new format to it, or there's no new it's written the same way. They repeat the sentences and they repeat the, firefighters worked out to put a fire at a home on Stony Hill Road in Wilbraham Friday morning. The fire was located at a residence on the 600 block of Stony Hill. It's like one little extra piece of information of exactly where it was. What a dumb.
How helpful.
Oh, it's all dumb.
It is.
A recall has been issued for thousands of Crayola products sold nationwide at Michael's stores and on the Michael's stores website. The recall is for the 24-piece Create-On Crayola branded Pip Cubes, which contain magnets that can become loose and pose a hazard to children if ingested, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Approximately 9,400 units have been recalled due to an ingestion hazard posed to children, according to the recall. The recall states that units can become lodged in the digestive system, resulting in perforations, twisting, or blocking of the intestines, blood poisoning, and death. But other than that, they're perfectly safe to use.
And they taste delicious.
Consumers should contact Create-On to receive a replacement set. A prepaid label will be provided for consumers to return the recalled magnetic cubes. So, man, who would have thought Crayola crayons would be killing people in 2025?
Well, these are not actually crayons. These are kind of like almost like building blocks, almost just in Crayola colors.
No,
I mean, you'd probably be better off just chewing on a crayon, frankly.
All right, who would have thought that the Crayola company would start killing people in the year 2025?
I knew a kid that got his tongue stuck in that crayon sharpener once.
You know what? I've said it for years, Bax. You can't trust Big Crayon.
They started off as a simple company, and now they're looking to control the entire coloring world.
You got to go back to those Dollar Tree ones for $1.25.
Those are sweatshop crayons.
They still work, nonetheless. A Brockton man on GPS home confinement for 2 pending state drug trafficking cases is facing federal charges after allegedly attempting to flush hundreds of fentanyl pills down a toilet.
Okay.
According to federal prosecutors, 26-year-old Edmund Kelsey attempted to flush fentanyl pills and other materials down a toilet as law enforcement entered his home. Kelsey was subsequently charged with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute 400 grams or more of fentanyl. He is currently in state custody and will appear in federal court in Boston at a later date. According to charging documents, investigators executed a search warrant at Kelsey's Brockton residence on October 30th, 2025. Prosecutors say that upon seeing law enforcement, Kelsey fled inside the home, locked the door, ran to the basement, and attempted to dispose of the drugs by flushing multicolored pills and other materials. A sample of the pills field tested positive for fentanyl. Kelsey was taken into custody moments later. And they show the toilet with... It's like... How did you think any of this stuff was going to flush? It is like thousands upon thousands of pills with the baggies, some of the baggies still around them.
I'm sure you've experienced the panic of clogging a toilet when you see the water level rise just on natural man-made materials. Can you imagine the panic you have? The cops are busting down the door with a battering ram, and you're trying to dump everything in a toilet to see the same exact thing. You're looking for a plunger. You're looking to snake the drain.
How do I get it?
Drano or something.
How do I get this down? Where's the Roto-Rooter man when you need him?
I thought 3 flushes would have done it.
You ever, back in college, I remember, putting a condom in the toilet, and that doesn't flush. It just keeps popping back up.
Oh, I know.
They just keep floating right back up to the top.
Oh, yeah.
That's what these were doing. They're coated in like that pill plastic, like you see a Tylenol, with the red and blue Tylenol.
Yeah.
It'll keep popping up. They're like little floaties. They're like little buoys in the toilet.
Then doesn't it make the water different colors?
Probably. Well, these are like they look like those St. Joseph's baby aspirins,
right?
But they're really fentanyl. And then on top of the thousands of fentanyl pills that are in this toilet, he's got a box like he was trying to flush a box down the toilet with like 3 other baggies.
Yeah, that's probably one of those these low water pressure 1 gallon flush tanks.
That ain't gonna work.
It ain't never gonna happen.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cold with a high of 24. Tomorrow, cold with a high of 33. It's 10 or 7 or 6 or 7 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
It's just about 6:52 with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
Cold today with a high of 24. It's 10 or whatever in downtown Spring. It's just cold. That's all we need to say.
You know, this whole show is dedicated to John O'Brien, who, as you know, passed just before the Mayflower Marathon at the age of 65. We'll be playing some great classic bits, not only today, but on the Best of Bax and Nagel tomorrow morning here on Rock 102. So there'll be some good things today, some amazing things tomorrow, and we hope you listen to both and enjoy.
There you go.
All right?
All right.
Well, let me ask you a very important question.
You can ask me whatever you want.
Steve, are you ready?
Yes. Wait. Now I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome Steve Nagel.
It's actually John O'Brien's America. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome John O'Brien's America.
So, a 65-year-old guy dies of melanoma and goes to St. Peter at the pearly gates. And St. Peter's got this giant book out. He goes, "Welcome to heaven. We just have to go through everything you did in your life before we let you in these gates." And the guy goes, "Don't even bother. You're not even going to make it that far." And St. Peter says, "Relax. We've seen everything. We'll get through this." And then he opens up the book to the first page, right?
Yes.
Says, "Well, it says here, you stayed friends with your ex-wife after divorce. Well, that's pretty admirable. But then, you were friends with her new husband, too? That's a little, not really a sin, but it's a little weird. Anyway," turns the page. You also had him iron your shirts?" St. Peter's just staring at this guy. Again, not a sin, but wow, dude. Next page. "You had a bed with no frame." The guy just shrugs. Again, not a sin, but why? Do you realize the unsanitary conditions that can create in someone's home? Flips another page. "You got mad at someone for not going to buy you batteries for a remote control. You stole milkshakes out of an employee refrigerator. You borrowed $1 from your coworker almost every single day to get peanut M&Ms, and you never paid it back once. You drove a 3-wheeled motorcycle on purpose? You had your mother buy you erectile dysfunction pills from Mexico? You got mad you had to pay $10 for a dog wash at Dave's Soda in Pet City. You felt it should be free. You complained about the sound of your neighbor's wind chimes. And repeatedly overused the phrase, seemingly. You're making this really hard." But then he flips to the back of the book, you know, that part that people forget about? And he's like, "Well, here it says, you openly talked about your battle with melanoma. Some for sympathy, of course, but it was also for other people so they could check themselves, and which saved quite a few lives. That's courage. It also says you helped your coworker's wife when she was dying of cancer. You found medical cannabis for her when it wasn't readily available to get. It let her eat again. That shows compassion. And you showed up for people even when you pretended you didn't want to. You cared deeply, no matter how much sarcasm and pessimism you wrapped around it. You made people laugh. You were loyal, you were kind, and you had a heart 10 times bigger than the thick shell that you hide under. I guess you can go in." And as the guy starts walking in, he's like, "Can I just ask one question? What's on the other side of those gates?" And he goes, "Oh, you're going to love it up here. There's the sound of children and families having fun together 24/7 and no access to chat your bait." Oh! The moral of the story is, one man's heaven is John O'Brien's hell. Rest in peace, buddy.
The views expressed in John O'Brien's America are just as familiar today as they were 30 years ago. Thank you.
It's back. The Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm headquarters before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I realize in a day it starts off in single digits, the last thing you want to hear about is that pitchers and catchers are just 66 days away from reporting to spring training. Sure, it seems like spring is right around the corner, but as someone who's gotten used to countdowns and counting down the days, 66 days is still a long ways out. Nevertheless, the Boston Red Sox are wasting no time getting ready for the upcoming season. This includes the completion of a 5-player trade that puts one of the best sliders in baseball into the Red Sox rotation. Yesterday, the Red Sox obtained right-hander Johan Oviedo from Pittsburgh for a bunch of stuff that we really didn't need in the first place, including a guy whose name is largely unpronounceable. That's right, the Red Sox have sent prospect Yehostin Garcia to the Pirates. That's Jhostynxon. Just like it sounds. In addition, the Pirates received 2 minor league pitchers, right-hander Jesus Travieso and lefter Tyler Samiengo. This comes days after the Sox picked up Sonny Gray from St. Louis. Oviedo is a 6'6" beast of a fella with an arm length at the 99th percentile and a fastball that zips by you in the mid-90s. A guy whose slider was listed as being one of the best pitches in baseball back in 2023. Sure, he's prone to injuries here and there, Tommy John surgery in 2024, muscle tears in his back that kept him off the mound for 4.5 months last season, but now I'm sure he's a whole new man. Now, I know that some of you may be disappointed to learn that the Red Sox gave up on Yehostin Garcia just to get him, but from my perspective, Johan Oviedo turns a rotation into something really cool. Garrett Crochet, Sonny Gray, Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford, Patrick Sandoval, those are all guys with pronounceable names. Yehostin Garcia, better known as the password, gives me agita every time I try to mention his name. Not to make it all about me, but Johan Oviedo is something that I can handle without breaking into a flop sweat. And for that, despite the future threat of season-ending injuries, is something I can live with. And I'd much rather let the people of Pittsburgh deal with all those pronunciation issues instead of us. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You got a steel chainsaw? You got to go meet Mark in South Hadley. There's a steel-trained technician at every Rocky's Ace Hardware for repairs and maintenance of your steel chainsaw or your steel blower or what have you. At the South Hadley Rockies, that dude is Mark. Good people, rock-solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware location. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:09 and the Doors with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
Oh, man. What is he having an asthma attack over there? What's going on?
Yes, I believe at that point Ray Manzarek whipped out the albuterol and he was puffing on that little inhaler for hours.
Choking on the vomit in a hotel room somewhere.
Absolutely. As you know, today is all about a tribute to John OBrien, who died, a week ago. Well, almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Hard to believe, but almost 2 weeks ago. One of the bits that people talked about wanting to hear again was about John and the cab.
Yeah.
This
is called You Can Walk.
Bags and Nagel on Rock 102.
So I wake up this morning. Alarm goes off as it normally does, 3:45. I have now relied on my cell phone as the backup alarm because of my now 2 not getting here before the show started incidents in the last 6 months. So when the phone alarm rang 2 minutes later, I picked that up also.
Oh, you can say ringed.
Yeah. And then saw that I had a text from Bax, which said something about not feeling good, puking. Oh, it said, guys, not feeling good, been puking, not coming in today. So I said, all right, well, we can deal with that. That's no big whoop. So I do my thing, do what I do, take my stick my head in the shower just to wet my hair, get rid of the colics, feed the dog, and then head out the door at 4:01. Now, the last few days, there's been kind of this little, when I turn the key on the Jeep, there'd been kind of this little brief hesitation, then a click, then a swoosh, a mysterious swoosh, and then a galunk. No, it would be there would be like a pause, then a click, and then it would start. And I'd be like, oh, well, that click is unusual, but geez, I bet it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it would only do it on the first startup of the day. It wouldn't do it when I would be leaving here. It wouldn't be doing it if I went anywhere in the afternoon. It wouldn't do it on the way home from anywhere in the afternoons. It was only doing it the first time in the morning.
that's because you're. It could be a couple of things.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
Starter, battery, whatever.
Alternator. It's the generator. So, see, I still love going back to that 70s Bill Cosby bit. So I spent probably a good, 4 or 5. Because what bothered me was, like I said, this has been happening for the last couple of days. But actually this morning, it clicked, and then it kicked like it was about to start, and then the key slipped from my fingertips.
Oh.
And I let it go, and I had to try it again. And when I tried it again, then there was nothing but a click. That was it. That was my one shot to get out of the house this morning, to get out of the driveway, and I lost it.
Did you check the washer fluid?
The washer fluid's fine.
The washer fluid is not fine.
All right, so anyway, so then I'm sitting there and I'm going, I saw this coming the last couple of days, and there was no way to make arrangements for a plan B. So now here it is. It's got to be plan A, and I don't know what to do. This is the problem of living alone. This is the problem of not having friends. This is the problem of not having 2 cars, which I actually thought about last week when I was considering that lacrosse. So I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Bax is sick. I got to get in there. For God's sakes, if Danny Soskovic can get a ride from his mom to come into the studio and do an interview, then I can get in there somehow. So I'm figuring, all right, well, I'm going to have to take a cab. I got no choice but to take a cab. So I Google, because I don't, off the top of my head, I know there's Yellow Cab or City Cab or whatever. So sure enough, it's City Cab. Mm-hmm. So I call City Cab, and I get City Cab, the female voice actually. I said, yeah, I need a ride. Where you at? I said, I tell her the name of the street in Chicory, and I got to go to and where you going? I said, I got to go to 45 Fisher Avenue in East Longmeadow. Okay, give us a few minutes. And I said, all right, and I hung up. And I'm thinking, a few minutes? First of all, this is a Springfield cab company. And I don't know how many of them work the overnight shift, but I'm betting the guy's in Springfield. So, assuming he has a GPS, it's still probably going to take several minutes, not a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds like splitting hairs, but I need to get to work. So I gather my stuff. I got my briefcase and my bowl and my lunch bag, and I sit out on the front step because it's pretty warm out and it's nice. And I'm thinking, the dog is already put downstairs. So I sit there and I'm waiting 20 minutes. I'm reading Mass Live on the iPhone. I'm trying to get some work done at least, and I wait 20 minutes. So I call City Cab back, and I go, yeah, listen, I've been waiting 20 minutes for a cab. You said it was going to be a few minutes. It's not here yet. She said, where are you at? And my first thought is, really? How many cab rides do you have lined up at 4 a.m. that you have to ask somebody where they're at? Are there really that many right now in queue, in line?
Well, that went through my head, too, when you were telling me this story this morning. And I said, how many people are asking?
How many people are looking for cabs at 4 a.m.? So I said the address again. And I hear, I hear a brief little, she gets on the radio, obviously, and she contacts the cab driver. She goes, yeah, he right around the block. He be right there. So, all right. And I hang up.
36 to 24 to 36.
Yeah. So 5 minutes go by from, around the block, and nothing. No cab. So I call back again. This is the third time now in a half an hour. And I go, listen, your cab is not here. You told me 5 minutes ago it was right around the corner. Yeah, he's out front. You need to go outside. I said, I'm sitting on my front step. I'm pretty sure I'd recognize a yellow cab if it was sitting in front of the house. He ain't in front of my house. Where is he? And I'm really, this is the tone of my voice now because I'm pissed. And she I can hear her on the radio, and I hear her going, yeah, I'm on Walnut Street, and I'm right near the Dugan's Cafe. And I said, that's nowhere near my house. And she goes, well, ain't you on Walnut Street? I said, no, I'm not on Walnut Street, dumbass. I'm on, and I said the actual name.
Dumbass?
Yes, I did at that point. I said, I'm on, and I said the name of the street. And I go, because I said dumbass.
Maybe.
And maybe because my voice was rising. She goes, you can walk. And just as I said, listen, a-hole, boom, I realized the call's been disconnected. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is what you do. You don't know the name of I speak for a living. If you didn't understand me say the name of my street, you should have asked me. You should have asked me to spell it, because I would have spelled it for you.
Okay.
So,
again, once you called her a dumbass,
it was over already. I was already so furious.
The relation
was done. We were finished. So
I told you all along you should have called the cab earlier.
So I get back on the phone and back on the internet, and I get what the hell did I have? It was some cab company out of Holyoke, and I call that number, and I get a recording. This number is no longer in service. Oh, great. Okay. So then I get a third one, which I also believe was in Holyoke. And I go, yeah, I need a ride from Chicopee to East Longmeadow. And he's like, okay, hang on, let me see, I got somebody. And I can hear him on the radio, and I hear no response. So he comes back on and he goes, yeah, we don't got nobody out there. And I go, excuse me, are you a 24-hour cab service? He goes, yeah, that's right. I go, in a row? And he goes, yeah, but there ain't nobody out there. I go, well, you understand, right? A 24-hour cab service means I should be able to call for a cab at any time and I'll get one, right? And he's kind of like, he pauses and then he kind of chuckles. And he goes, yeah, that's right. I go, what? But not this hour? Is that it? And he goes, well, we're 24 hours. I said, well, obviously you're not, dumbass. And I did it again.
You said dumbass?
I said it again. And I hung up. But
I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to talk to you.
Dude, the dumbass is the last thing I say. Yes. It's not the first thing.
But you don't think about the future. If you ever need this cab service again, and
God forbid I ever need this cab service again. I've used a cab once in the last 15 years, and I flagged it down because I was somewhere where I needed a ride home at least. And I assure you, nobody's going to recognize my voice when I call 15 minutes later and they go, well, where are you at? Yeah, I just called you 15 minutes ago. How many cabs you got out there waiting for brides? So, you know what? The guy who didn't have the cab ready, that's his problem. But Yellow Cab, you suck, okay? And if anybody out there needs a cab, call somebody other than Yellow Cab.
I don't think there's anybody else other than that other guy.
What other guy?
The other guy that you called, the second guy.
Yeah, well, no, there are. There's others. I'm pretty sure there's others. And if there's not, then you can walk. Because don't call City. You know what? I want to make sure, because I keep getting City Cab and Yellow Cab mixed up.
You know, Jesus walked wherever he went. You can walk there, too.
What is it? It's the 9999. Yeah, Yellow Cab.
Yeah.
That's it. Take something other than Yellow Cab. Because those people suck. If you don't know,
they're all a bunch of dumbasses.
If you don't know where somebody lives, if you're not sure what street it was, and they call back a second time, you might want to verify the spelling of the street. Now, I know you could just as easily say, well, maybe I should have done that. Okay, maybe that's true. But I'm not the one who requires customer service. The company who provides customer service should have customer service. And to tell me, you can walk, that ain't customer service, okay? You should apologize and say, I'm sorry, could you spell the name of that street for me? And I would have spelled it, and she would have said, oh, that's not what I thought you said. I thought you said Walnut. That's why the guy's sitting on Walnut near Dugan's Cafe. Could you walk down to Dugan's Cafe and get in the cab?
In her defense, Pendleton is a very hard word to spell.
Yes, well, clearly Pendleton would have been an easy street to find because everybody knows where Pendleton is.
So then you called the Huntington Russell cab service.
So, you know, I just got because Bax is out sick. I'm thinking this is it.
And that's a whole nother issue, too.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, too, because there's a third issue going on. So I had a text also from Tim Rook at 1:30 this morning asking if we get any of the money for the Thursday live show, for the Bax and O'Brien Thursday Night Live show we're having at City Stage. And I wrote back and said, not a dime. Now, while I'm sitting on the step, right, I told you, reading Mass Live so that I can get at least caught up before I get in here, and I see City Council, Springfield City Council refuses the 30-day hold for the pawn shops and votes it back to 10 days. So I'm reading the article, and it was like a 10-3 vote. And at the bottom, they said the three counselors who voted against it, I forget who two of them were. One was Tom Ash, and I forget who the other two were. But it was not Tim Rook. And Tim Rook was the one who told me about this originally going to 10 days from 30 days by Jimmy Farrar. So now I text Rook, and I said, not a dime. We don't get a dime from this show. And weren't you the guy who told me that the 10-day moratorium was changed from 30 days? And yet you voted for it yesterday? You know what? I need a ride. Come and get me in Chicopee and drive me into work. And I haven't heard back from him yet.
That's because he probably fell asleep.
Yeah. No, I think he texted back. He wrote, "You can walk.
You can walk, mother."
Yeah, mother effer. I couldn't believe that's what she said. You can walk. You're a cab company.
You know, and to feel bad for the driver because now he lost out on a fare and a tip.
Sorry, pal. You might have also lost out on a few more because I'm telling everybody not to take that cab. Take somewhere else. So then, yes. Then Bax. What were we doing? Oh no, you come and get me. And again, thank you very much because I know it's not exactly around the corner.
You had texted me saying that your car wasn't started. You were waiting for a cab.
Right.
You were going to be late.
Right.
So I said, yeah, whatever, not a problem. I said, isn't that funny how you were talking about getting a new car last week and now your car doesn't work?
Right.
It's almost as if it knows.
And this was all in texting.
Right.
So then I call you once this whole cab fiasco goes down. I call you because I just got no other choice at this point. What really bothered me is I got a neighbor who's got very strange sleeping habits. The guy who lives directly across the street from me. Mm-hmm. And he was awake. In fact, he came outside because I was spending the whole time sitting on my front step. I didn't want to go back in and get the dog all worked up.
Right.
So I'm sitting on the front step. He actually left his house and went out and came back. And there was no way I was asking him for a ride to Chicopee, to East Longmeadow from Chicopee. There was just no way. It just seemed like a gigantic imposition, and I wasn't going to do that. I'd rather have a guy drive from Huntington all the way out to Chicopee and then take me to East Longmeadow.
Way out of his way to come get you.
So when you get there, we're in downtown Springfield on 91 before I said something about, and this is just great now with Bax being sick too. And you're like, what? No!
What? No! And I said, what are you talking about? Bax out sick.
So I got my text, and I'm like, yeah, no, he wrote it. It was a group text. And you're like, well, I didn't get it. So how did that go down? I forget the succession.
You started asking him, so you said Steve didn't get your text. Yeah, but the other piece to that is, when I was on the pike going to Chicopee, I texted Bax and I said, well, it looks like John and I are going to be late, both going to be late, because I have to go pick him up now. And he said, what's that all about? And I said, I'll save it for the air, because we'll tell you on the air.
Right.
Oh, okay, enjoy. But he doesn't say anything.
He must have assumed you got his text, and he must have thought you meant tomorrow.
Right.
We're not going to talk about this today, but I'll tell you tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
So then I'm texting him saying, hey, Steve didn't get your text. And he's writing, well, I texted both of you. And I wrote, well, I got it, but he didn't. And he writes, well, which number is his? Because I have two numbers for him.
So I said, you either have my home number or you have my, I was telling you this.
Yeah. He either has my home number or he has my cell number. So then he says, is it, and he gives me two prefix choices. And one of them is the proper prefix, and the other one is a prefix you said has been disconnected for 5 years.
It was a 222 number.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I have 222. It was 2531. That was the old number. Yeah. And then I said, I haven't had that number in 5 years.
You said that to me.
Right.
So then I typed back to him, because Steve's driving, and you don't text and drive. So I text back to him. He hasn't had that number for 5 years. And I put 5 in caps, and I wrote the word 5 in caps.
And for 5 years, it was so nice.
Oh, Lord, I would love it, dove it. And then Oh, wow, my voicemail just arrived from 15 minutes ago.
Oh, that's good.
So then he says, thanks for keeping me in the loop.
What?
Which is like the white version of, well, you can walk.
Keeping you in the loop.
Yeah, keep me in the loop.
5 years ago, I said,
Yeah.
here's my new number.
Yeah, he's out of the loop.
And you know what? That was even before I had a home landline.
Yeah, that was before you had a home. And
It was.
So then he asked me in a text, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm not bothering to text this because it's just too much. My thumbs are killing me at this point. And I'm thinking, well, what does it matter? Where are we? You're not coming in. You said you're sick. So then I wrote, after like his fourth text, I wrote, you're up already. Why don't you just get your ass into work and start the show?
He should have.
And I never heard back from him.
So then, him being sick. What did he tell you in that text message?
It just said, something about, I don't second guess why somebody calls in. I don't want anybody doing that to me.
No, because I want to match it up with the Facebook excuse as opposed to the
right.
the excuse.
Let's see. I'm going all the way back. Guys, I feel like I'm pretty close to trashing my voice. I'm staying home.
Oh, I thought you said he got sick.
Yeah, no, I thought he did too, but...
all right, so he pretty much said the same thing.
Okay.
Nope, gave it my best shot. My voice is trash and I feel like crap. Please give John O'Brien and Steve Nagel your undivided attention while I stay home and try to not feel like somebody scrubbed the back of my throat with a wire brush.
You should have said, please give John O'Brien a ride, because, I needed a ride. But, so what I also did was, because I'm thinking, I don't even know how I'm going to get home, let alone when I'm going to get home. And frankly, my trusted mechanic is in East Long Meadow. I mean, there is a guy in Chicopee that I've gone to in the past, but I haven't gone to him regularly because I haven't really needed one.
The level of trust isn't there, though, is it?
No, actually, I trust the guy an awful lot, but getting the car there is going to be a problem. He doesn't have tow service. So now I got to call a tow truck. So I'm thinking, you know what? I really need to get my car in the driveway. That's what I was going to ask the neighbor for, was just for help pushing me into the driveway. And then I'm like, screw it. I can do this myself. So, I'm sitting in the car and I'm trying to push myself out with just 1 foot, and I could have done it, but it was only 4:15 in the morning and I just didn't have the desire. So I ended up getting out and pushing the front of it a little bit, and once it started rolling out of the driveway or rolling out of the garage, I was able, thankfully, it didn't get enough momentum. I was able to jump into it and hit the brake.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning that, believe me. Not only not being able to stop it before it rolled into the street, but being knocked over by the door and then run over by the front wheels.
How much momentum do you need? You just put your one leg out the door and push off the ground.
I know, it was like the very end of the garage was almost like an incline, and it wouldn't let me up over the lip. So I left the car in the driveway with the key in the ignition because I'm going to need to call a tow truck sometime in the next couple hours. I'd like to get it to the garage when it opens this morning, rather than waiting until well after 10 o'clock. So,
well, what's the difference? It's going to take all day to fix anyway.
Because all day, if it doesn't get there until noon, will be half today and half tomorrow, and I'll need a ride tomorrow.
That whole thing is a scam. It only takes them like an hour to do, and they're telling you it takes 3.
That 1 hour Martinizing, that's a real scam too. But thank you very much, Yellow Cab. Your customer service techniques are outstanding. I see how you won yourself a Howdy Award. I don't care how drunk I am on New Year's Eve. I will not call you for a ride home.
I will put other lives at risk and drive drunk down the street before I call you.
Or I will let you drive me, and I will intentionally puke all over your back seat.
You better walk, you Oreo cookie mother.
You can walk, crack a bitch. Rock 102.
When snow and storms roll into Amherst,
7:37 with Banks and Nagel and Rock 102. It's time for news. It's brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-in bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. His local radio icon, Steve Nagel.
Thanks, Bax. Fire officials have issued a warning about fire safety after 2 apartment building fires in Holyoke this week, as investigators have narrowed down a cause of one of the first to a popular household item. Local and state investigators indicated that the fire on High Street on Tuesday was, fire on High.
Ooh, ELO, that's a classic.
Was most likely caused by an overloaded power strip, according to Captain David Rex. We don't know exactly this particular strip was plugged in, how it was plugged in, and it is also not known what exactly was plugged into the strip itself. With the holiday season here, people will be plugging in lights, holiday decorations, and, even though they haven't said what it is, they do mention, like, people who plug in space heaters to keep extra, a little extra warmth for yourself.
Right.
Or little mini fridges, dehumidifiers, or humidifiers, or all that stuff. You can't plug all that stuff into one strip and then plug the strip into the outlet that also has another strip attached to it.
Well, there's certain things that need more power to operate than others. I mean, if you were just like charging your phone on a power strip, well, you're probably going to be okay. But if you got space heaters, like a toaster oven, some of those things are going to take a lot of charge. Absolutely. And you got to keep them away from things like draperies or anything that could catch on fire.
Yep.
I always try to put my accelerants far away from my space heater.
Oh, what are you talking about? I put my linseed oil right next to that.
Yeah, so I don't do that.
Rex made it very clear that power strips should also not be covered and hidden, like you just said about the drapes and stuff. But if they're like under a blanket or near anything flammable,
near a tub,
right.
I would highly recommend not doing that.
If you see a flame spark up from the strip or the wall, use an extinguisher if you have one. Unplug the power strip, and more importantly, call 911. I would go a step further and say shut that breaker off to the strip first before you touch it.
You could, listen, I'm not much on electricity. I can't say I know a hell of a lot about it, but I know that if something's on fire, I'm not going to be playing around with it.
I'm electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie.
I believe that.
You can feel it. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. A gun call on Main Street in Holyoke led to one man's arrest and the seizure of illegal drugs. Police were called to a gas station in the area Friday around 3 a.m. Now, I'm guessing this is last week.
Perhaps.
Because it didn't, they don't have the breaking news overnight anymore. I don't think they do that much. Anyway, Friday around 3 a.m. after someone reported seeing a driver with a gun, the suspect, identified as 37-year-old Santiago Soltran Ramirez of Holyoke, was pulled over a little while later and arrested after police learned he had a suspended license and was driving an unregistered vehicle. Officers found the firearm, which turned out to be a BB gun, as well as narcotics and marijuana.
Oh, boy, that's when things start to go to hell.
Also known as the devil's lettuce, Satan's sage,
the wacky tobacco,
Mary Jane, reefer. You know all the names.
You reefer zombies out there really need to start paying attention to what's going on in your lives.
You absolutely do. A property check on Newton Street in Holyoke yielded unexpected results after police arrested an armed robbery subject inside an abandoned building. Well, I guess if you're going to, do some drugs.
What are you looking to rob in an abandoned building?
You're not robbing. You're starting your own drug factory. It's a pop-up drug factory. It's one of those, the pop-up shops.
It's like a weed kiosk.
Yes. Police said they were investigating complaints about drug dealing in the area on Wednesday when they found an open door to the empty structure. Once inside, they found 43-year-old Edwin Nazario and 36-year-old Melquiades Cabrera allegedly trespassing. Both were arrested, and it was later learned that Cabrera had an open warrant for armed mass robbery. Oh man,
come on.
This is the problem. Hey.
Again, there's planning that can go into these kinds of things. If you just take a moment, say, what would be the best way to go about this? And really think about all the possible contingency plans and exit strategies as opposed to just throwing it up against the wall. Hey, let's do drugs here. Let's produce and sell right here.
Right here. This is the spot. This is where my dream will come true. The big drug factory that I've always wanted.
What's that, a police substation across the street? They'll never notice.
Cops. They don't have an eye for anything.
I don't seem suspicious. Do I seem like the kind of suspicious fella to you?
No, I guess not. I guess you don't. Hey, by the way, I was talking yesterday about the Westfield Community Forum.
Yes.
And, the guy who runs that forum was at the comedy show last night.
Oh, really?
And I made a suggestion that the people of the Munger Hill area of Westfield are swingers with the upside down pineapples on the doors.
That's the rumor.
And then the guy posted a picture of me in the forum going, Steve Nagel says there's swingers over in the Munger Hill area. And then you had all these people commenting, I've heard that too. It must be a big thing over there with the swingers.
Had you not mentioned this to me, I would never have known this. Even when I lived in Westfield, I didn't know there were swingers.
Well, you weren't part of that elite club.
I guess not. Well, I was new in town. I was kind of like, the new guy on the block. Probably wasn't, making the rounds the way I should have.
You're working on a radio salary. There was no way you could afford to live in Munger Hill. No, let alone a pineapple that was hanging upside down on your door.
I could have driven my cheap car over there and pretended I was like, among the muckiest of mucky mucks.
I can't be an orgy guy. I'd have to get a whole new wardrobe, smoking jackets, pipes, things like that.
I would need a hard, fast list of established rules so that we all know what we're getting into before I agree to anything. No cameras, no writing utensils. I don't want anything that is going to say, did you know that he's swinging?
You must have to hire a good cleaning person after a party like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you want to do it yourself?
Well, I mean, isn't anybody leaving? You know how people freak out when you put a drink down on a table.
What, no coasters?
Yeah. What if they're is there like an imprint of ash cheeks on somebody's coffee table? Oh, I told you to use the doily. Use the doily when you're doing that.
I just used the lemon pledge on that surface.
Oh, we are no more lemon pledge. We are out of lemon pledge. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be... It's going to be cold. High of only 24 today. Tomorrow, cold with a high of 33. It is 10 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:52 in Boston with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
Sunny today, but very cold. High of only 24. It is 10 right now in downtown Springfield.
Bourbon Barbecue and Blues is coming back on Saturday, January 31st, brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements. It's a great night of delicious food, smooth drinks, and hot blues with Neil and the Vipers. If you want tickets, they're on sale now at rock102.com. It is a great night of fun, and January 31st at the Log Cabin. Again, thanks to Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements for his support, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
We're remembering John O'Brien this morning, and we've been playing some bits here and there. Tomorrow morning will be an entire best of show of all the crazy things that wacky man got himself into.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot, as you know, and we'll have a chance to have you share your thoughts too during Open Line Friday, which is coming up after 8:00. But and then a John O'Brien's America coming up next hour too. Yeah, legitimate John O'Brien's America,
a legitimate one. Yeah,
when we were getting ready for the Mayflower Marathon, we told the story last week. I'll tell it again. We were at the Thunderbirds game for the Mayflower Marathon night that they were having there. And you and I were talking about the idea of having John join us at the Mayflower Marathon. We texted him that night, and he had agreed. He was ready to join us. It was a big surprise. And, obviously, it had been a number of years since he had been on Rock 102, and knowing what he was facing, we thought it would be an appropriate way of supporting him, having him be a part of the Mayflower Marathon. And unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, and it didn't happen. But going on the air and talking about John and talking about what had happened to him within 24 hours of us announcing that he had died. I got to tell you, we were deluged with people's thoughts and prayers and condolences and everything else, and it really meant a lot. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I believe it did. I know for me.
No, it had no meaning to me at all.
Well, I mean, it meant a lot to me because so much of my career is closely allied with John, and I'm very grateful for everything that we did together, and grateful for the success, but grateful for the partnership, and grateful for the audience and the Mayflower Marathon and everything else. There's a lot to be grateful for in the relationship that I had with John. We may not have agreed on much over the course of 27 years that we worked together. But at the end of the day, the one thing that we did both believe in was the strength of the show and, what we were doing on the show. And we could always count on the fact that, in the slimmest of times, at least we could rely on the chemistry that he and I had together, because it really was legitimate. It was really organic, and a lot of radio shows don't get that kind of opportunity. And as this whole week has gone by, this whole 2-week span has gone by, I found myself, being nostalgic, going back and thinking about all the things that had happened. Many of those things were played out on the air. Many of those things were not played out on the air. And many of those things will continue to not be played out on the air. But there were many things that we did share with the audience. And I find myself looking back at those things really fondly. And again, gratitude is the whole thing.
I think that vulnerability that he had to just be so open with things, and those arguments, like whatever the argument was, there was kind of like this understanding where, we'll just bring this to the air because not only is it entertaining, but it was real. And I think there's so much that is not real. When you listen to other morning shows, and I've used that example of that station down in Hartford that does the War of the Roses, and then they put TikTok videos up and all this other stuff. That's all fake. The whole thing is completely acted out. And anytime we ever tried to do something scripted, it was a complete and utter failure because we're not scripted people. We still don't do that. We still don't do scripted stuff.
If we ever fake something, we let the audience in on the secret.
Yeah.
Hey, this is totally fake.
Hey, by the way, just pretend like you're doing this. Pretend you're in this situation.
People may not remember this, but years and years ago, this goes back maybe to the 90s. This is before you got here. We would schedule guests, and many, many times they would back out or not call or whatever. And we would go into it with an intern that we had who would pretend to be that person.
The guest, yeah.
And his name was Pete Bennett. And we'd go into it, and Pete would pretend to be, whoever that we were talking about. Like 3 minutes into it, he said, "I'm sorry, guys, it's me. It's Pete Bennett."
Right. Yeah.
We let you in on the secret that, when mistakes and problems happened, they were not hidden. And some radio shows don't want you to know that we're fallible dopes. But those are the kinds of things I'm finding myself remembering.
Yeah.
We had another intern that did the joke of the day once a week, completely in Spanish. And in fact, even the announcer voice that we had at the time would introduce it in Spanish. We had this guy, Carlos, do the whole thing. And that was John's idea to do it. And it was absolutely hilarious. But it was just like, those are the kinds of things that when we faked, we let everybody know about it.
And just to drive it home for you, I used to listen to that when I was in high school. And the first time I heard you guys, I'm like, what are these two go? How are these? It was your year anniversary because I moved here in '96, so it was like your year anniversary, and I'm like, and you were doing like some April Fool's prank where you were going to get canceled, and I'm like, well, who cares? I'm like, this show sucks anyway. I'm turning it over to Howard Stern. You know that guy,
right?
He was a big popular guy, but it's just kind of weird to go through listening. And then I never thought in a million years I would be working here, ever. Like, you just don't expect something like that.
We never thought in a million years you'd be here after 20 years.
And, there are so many people that want to do what we do, and there's not a lot of people that actually get the chance to do it. Yeah. And to make it as successful as it was between you guys and then the three of us, eventually after 10 years of you being together, there was something magical about that. And I've been listening to all those old podcasts and going back, and I'm like, holy shiznit, man. Yeah. That was some good chemistry there. And it'll never be the same. You'll never get that kind of magic because of the mix of personalities of the three of us,
right?
And it was a different type of show.
Well, you also have to understand, and because when John was no longer working here, there were a lot of people say, it'll never be the same.
Yeah.
Truth is, the show that it started off as and the show that it ended as were also different shows,
right?
And we grew and it evolved over time. No, it's not the same, and it will never be the same. But I think John and I would both agree that thank God it didn't stay the same. I mean, neither one of us wanted to see it end the way it did. It ended that way, but, things evolve. And unfortunately, John has passed, and, we're both taking it very hard. And even the Mayflower Marathon, very bittersweet as a result of it. A great week, but yet, we had this, cloud hanging over us about John's death. And, we want to offer at least a bit of a tribute, and you'll get your chance to speak your minds in just a little bit with Open Line Friday.
Oh, we're actually going to do that?
Making mistakes.
Hey, we'll have to come up with a whole new set of rules now.
Yeah, don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
That should be the biggest one right there.
There you go.
It's 8:02 and Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:14 and U2 with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
It is going to be cold today with a high of only 24. It is 10 right now in downtown Springfield.
And now, live from the Richard Grieco Studios in East Long Meadow, Massachusetts, it's Open Line Friday!
Okay, 293-1021. It's Open Line Friday, brought to you by Linton Septic. Getting the most how to be a number one with number two business.
It's open lines, but if you have anything nice to say,
well, here's the way I see it.
Yeah,
the normal rules apply. Okay, no foul language, no hate speech. Try not to act like you think. Get to your point right away. Otherwise, I'm hanging up on you. But more importantly, can we not worry about the shout out to Plimpton and Hills?
No, we don't need that today.
Eddie's Packy today.
We don't need that.
I think we need that at all. No. Let's go to the phones. The phones are blowing up already. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt the Drunk.
What's up, Matt the Drunk? Thanks for the sweet and low.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you if you got that package.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. What's on your mind, Matt?
I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to John OBrien. I'm going to miss that, man. And with that being said, I just want to give my crappy joke of the week.
All right,
let her rip.
All right, what do you call a blind gynecologist?
What do you call a blind gynecologist?
A lip reader.
I don't even know what that means.
I have no idea. But thanks, Matt. Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's the Hawkman calling for the wear.
Hey, what's up, Hawkman?
How you guys doing this morning?
Doing all right.
What's up?
Is this open line for John O'Brien?
You know it is.
Yes, it is, Steve. Come on, what's up?
30 seconds or less here. Let's get a move on.
Yeah, I've been listening to you guys since I transferred to Palmer High School back in the late 90s, listening to you guys. And I just got to say that John educated me and told me to for the Hawkman to always use my personality and sense of humor to get through my daily life. And thank you guys so much for what you're doing this morning, so we can share our happy news about, not happy news, but share what John O'Brien meant to all of us. And, you know, thank God for him because, I don't know, I love that guy.
All right, man.
All right, Hawkman.
We
Appreciate the call.
it.
Thank you very much. Okay.
All right.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hi, this is Rick.
What's up, Rick?
What's up, Rick?
Oh, when I was a young man working at Belize Ford, 20 years old, John O'Brien came in with his Ford Taurus with one bad tire. And lucky for me, I was the guy who got to take it because he was my hero at the time. And I got to experience the John O'Brien experience because the tire was about 2 hours late getting from the shop. He was one cranky guy, but I enjoyed every second of it. John, we're going to miss you.
Cranky? Him?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
I've never
heard
seen
that before.
any indication that's true.
All right. Thank you, man.
Appreciate the call, man. Thank you. All right. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
This is Eric, your tire guy.
What's up, Eric?
Not too much. I want to congratulate you guys on the Mayflower Marathon. That was amazing how much you guys raised. It was over 260,000.
262.
262. And both of you, I'm sorry for your loss. I have never had a chance to listen to John O'Brien, but listening to him today, he seems like a hilarious MF.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was. Well, listen, we appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, Bax. This is Bill from Bay State. How are you, Steve and Bax?
Good. What's up, Billy?
Hey, I just want to let you guys know you guys did a phenomenal job with the Maython Marathon for the Open Pantry, and we do appreciate it. Everybody here down at Bay State wants to wish you guys keep doing the best luck for the marathon next year, and we'll hope to see you soon. We donated some dry goods from Bay State to you guys, but I didn't get a chance to stop in and say hello to you guys. But
I was waiting for my turkey dinner from the Bay State cafeteria. Where was that, Billy? Bob?
Well, you know, Steve, I can only do so much. You know, I'm not the
I know,
CEO,
you're a one-man
but-
show over there. I get it.
All right. Thanks, Billy.
All right. See you guys. Thank you so much.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning.
I'm sorry. You're
That's
breaking.
John
breaking
O'Brien
up.
from the afterlife.
You're breaking up, dude. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's Rachel Hodges.
Hey, Rachel. How
what's
are
up?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
I just wanted to say hi. Good morning. I listen to you guys in the morning. I don't want to waste your time. And shouting out to all the plumbers. My husband's a plumber in Northampton.
He's no Vince the plumber, though, I bet.
He's no what?
He's no Vince the plumber, though, I bet.
Vinska, I don't know. He's a master plumber and all that.
He's a master something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to take what you can get.
That's right, Rachel. You're absolutely right about that. All right. You have a good weekend. We appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right. Rock 102. Oh. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hi, Dan Towers.
Dan. Dan, how are you?
What's up?
Dan used to be the promotions director here at Rock 102 many years ago. How are you, Dan?
I am well. It's great listening to you guys doing this tribute this morning. It's been fantastic. I love it.
Awesome.
So, are we on right now? Because I have a story.
Yeah, we're on the air.
We're on
right
right
live.
now. Right now, Dan.
Yay.
Let her
I'm
rip.
going to tell you about my first day working at Rock 102. I had already met you back very briefly, and I'd been to the building. So I get there trying to make an impression. The old building, you go downstairs past the studios. I'm going to my office, but it looks very different on this particular morning because plastered on the walls are photocopies of the front page of Radio Inc. magazine. And they go all the way down the hallway to the program director's office, Glenn, and his door is completely covered. I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on, but something's going on. I get to my office, and I hear somebody walking down the hallway after a little while, and Glenn, the program director at the time, his laugh could best be described as like a gangster's sidekick. It was more of a snicker. It was like, and I hear the So he's looking at all this stuff plastered on the walls, and his door is completely covered. He says hi to me, but then I hear somebody else walking down the hallway. Now, I'm sitting at my desk, and this is all like a play being performed in front of me outside in the hallway. And John's got the Radio Inc. magazine in his hand. And he comes up to go, he says, hey, Glenn, did you happen to catch the most recent issue of Radio Inc. magazine by any chance? And Glenn's like, no, John, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. And he's like, well, apparently there's an article in here by so-and-so, and he says the exact opposite of what you had told me and Bax recently about blah, 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 blah. He's saying the exact opposite of what you had told us. And Glenn's like, well, obviously, John, what he meant by that. And he starts to give some explanation. John, very patiently looking at him, lets him finish, takes his glasses off in a cartoon manner, kind of flashes it towards the magazine and says, oh, I guess I forgot to bring my read between the lines classes with me today. I am absolutely dying laughing. I'm 5 minutes into my first day, and I'm crying laughing at somebody making fun of my boss, basically. I worked with a lot of very funny people and a lot of quick people. I don't think I've ever worked with anybody as quick as John. He was so fast with his comments. And
That's awesome.
Any day was fun, and any day, if I actually have the chance to make him laugh, even if I had a horrible day, that was a great day. He will be absolutely missed. Thank you so much for doing this tribute. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Dan. Great to talk to you. We should catch up sometime. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm dying to.
All right. Thanks, Dan. We appreciate it. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, good morning, boys. It's Vince the plumber.
All right, Vince.
All
What's
right,
up?
Blintz.
No. I wanted to throw out a real great shout out. The Mayflower Marathon was really awesome. Doing today, putting this towards John O'Brien is awesome. And the first time I got to meet John O'Brien was when you guys started the open line, when he was talking about having a plumbing problem at his house with the saddle valve for his ice maker. After he talked about it, and I was on the radio talking to him about it, we were having some good laughters. He got a hold of me, and I went to his house in Chicopee and replaced that saddle valve and got him water going to his refrigerator. So he was a good guy, great guy in person, too, and yeah.
And he paid your prices?
Yeah. Well, he bickered, but he paid.
That's what I was trying to get out of you, Vince.
Right. I don't want to go that far. But yeah,
you can go as far as you want. Yeah.
All right, Vince. Thank you very much.
Have a great one, guys. Thanks so much.
All right, you want to take one or two more?
Yeah, why not?
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hi, this is Riff from Chicopee, and I want to congratulate you guys on Mayflower. What an outstanding job you guys did.
Thank you.
But also, I want to send my condolences to everybody who knew John. Max, I remember when I met you and John at the Big E when you first showed up in, 95?
Yep.
And, you seem like such a young pup out, ready to do anything that John was willing to let you do. But, you also seem like, I got to learn the territory. But you guys were so great and phenomenal as far as I'm concerned. And everything that you guys have done. And then, when Steve came on, the three of you, like you said, there was a chemistry between all of you. I do have a question, though.
Yeah.
On the podcast, are the old podcasts with John still available?
I'm glad
last time I checked.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So here's how you do this. You got to go to SoundCloud, not the other places that you find your podcast on. Go to SoundCloud.com. And if you search Rock 102 Full Show, all the shows that were uploaded for the last 10 years are there, because 10 years ago is when we got the SoundCloud platform. So that's when we started uploading shows. So you can go all the way back to 2015 and find all of those podcasts in that thing. So that's how you do that.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So freaking, I'm so glad you brought that up, because, I was wondering, great, where's it at?
Yeah, no, well, there you go, man.
Well, here's the bad part. Here's the bad part. I think those Dave Coombs shows are still there, too.
No! Well, it's just a perfect example of how things can never be replicated.
Yeah, and now no one here understands how to hit the delete button.
Who's your favorite dead radio host?
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for letting us hear you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right.
Hey,
that was one of the best Open Line Fridays we've had in a long time.
I think a very successful one. Nobody was actually a dink, which was
not a single dink.
Weird.
I don't even know where I am right now.
Who is it? What time? What year is it?
Thanks to everybody that called. Again, thanks again to Linton Septic for their support. It's 8:26 on Rock 102.
Download.
It's 8:29 with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102.
Liam has the forecast, and he will tell you.
We will have a legitimate John O'Brien's America coming up later on this hour. Also, a Hollywood trash, an old Hollywood trash that has John.
Classic one.
A classic
that
one.
Doesn't really include the Kardashian thing, but it was funny nonetheless.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, an entire best of the Bax and O'Brien show.
Who's this? What's this show? I never heard of that show.
Yeah, it's an old show, kind of like My Mother the Car or I Dream of Jeannie.
I have to say, now that my name is on the show,
yes,
can I be the one like, well, do we have to run that? It's not the Bax and O'Brien show. It's the Bax and Nagel show. How many times did I hear that over the years? This isn't the Steve Nagel show.
Probably more than 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
I can hear it 1,000 more.
We got news coming up next to Rock 102. Here's 8:32 with Bax and Nagel on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Freedom Credit Union. Freedom is yours. As local radio icon Steve Nagel.
Thanks, Bax. The coverage this week for the apartment building fires in Holyoke continues. As investigations continue, the general community and even those outside the city are doing whatever they can to help the dozens of impacted families. Lots of donations flooded the Enlace de Familias, a local family resource center in Holyoke. All this is to try to help the many who have lost almost everything, especially with the holidays just right around the corner. It's been a busy week for many people in the paper city after two massive fires on Franklin and High Streets displaced more than 100 people, with most of those affected staying at hotels. And Enlace de Familias and its executive director, Frank Martinez, asked for many different items to try to help them, including the kids get back on their feet. We're still going to be collecting coats and stuff that kids are going to need. Christmas is right around the corner, so also collecting toys to make sure families who lost everything in their home can still have a very successful and happy Christmas for their families. The effort has gone beyond one specific location. Just around the corner on Ray Street, Martin Kusarczyk Sr. has a mini collection drive gathering warm clothes, shoes, and so much more. All of what was collected there going to the Family Resource Center. Working hard for everything, losing everything you have, all gone in a second, said Kusarczyk. I remember what it's like not having nothing, so this is kind of why I do what I do. So if you can donate to those folks, there's a whole list on the Western Mass News website of places that you can drop items off to, and you can donate online as well for monetary donations. But you think how cold it was last night. Yesterday afternoon. These snow squalls started up. In my area anyway, and then by 9 o'clock last night, I think the wind chills were about 1. It was cold, and this is no time of year is a good time of year to lose stuff, but you're in extreme cold temperatures. So.
Well, and the sad part about this is some people will have a place to go, maybe a relative or a friend, but there's a lot of people that don't have that option. And so now they have to look for, they have to figure something out where they're going to stay. You don't think about that, but that's unfortunately what sometimes happens after apartment fires or house fires.
Speaking of which, firefighters worked to put out a fire at a home on Stony Hill Road in Wilbraham this morning. The Wilbraham Fire Department states that about 3:10 a.m., crews were sent to 615 Stony Hill Road for a house fire. When crews arrived, they found heavy smoke and flames coming from the second floor. Crews from the Ludlow Fire Department, East Longmeadow Fire Department, and Westover Air Reserve Base assist in putting out the fire. The fire has been put out and no injuries were reported. The cause is being investigated at this time. And it was important to note, Captain Rex from the Holyoke Fire Department said in a different story about the safety of these the power strips, because they believe that possibly one of those fires started from an overloaded power strip. They don't have that, hard evidence yet, but they kind of suspect that that's what it might be from.
Right.
People, I see them for sale all the time, the little space heaters that you can buy and all that stuff. Those things are pretty dangerous, and they take a lot of power to use. So you can really only dedicate one outlet to one of those, as opposed to plugging in Christmas lights and everything else that you're throwing in there.
If your power strip feels hot to the touch,
Yeah.
maybe you might want to consider another option.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good indication that maybe you got too much plugged into it, or maybe it's working too hard to power the things you have. So I don't know. I'm not a fire expert by any means, but you got to be careful.
No, you should really be using just the power of love, because I am your lady.
Yeah,
and you are my man.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need, I'll do all that I can.
No truer words have ever been spoken, Steve.
I'm waiting for something.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the rest of the lyric.
I don't remember either.
Man, that Celine Dion had a set of pipes
She
on
did.
her.
You know what? She
Like an
really
angel.
did.
Sings like an angel.
So
doesn't
true.
She? Yeah. This guy out in Brockton, I find this toilet story so very entertaining. A Brockton man on GPS home confinement, by the way, for 2 pending state drug trafficking cases, is facing federal charges after allegedly attempt to flush hundreds of fentanyl pills down a toilet.
Now, I could see maybe dropping 1, 2, maybe 3 at a
Even
time.
10. Even
maybe,
10. Yeah.
maybe. But how many were there?
It was thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. According to federal prosecutors, 26-year-old Edmund Kelsey of the Kelseys of Brockton.
The Brockton Kelseys.
The Brockton Kelseys. Attempted to flush thousands of fentanyl pills and other materials down a toilet as law enforcement entered his home. Kelsey was subsequently charged with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute fentanyl. He's currently in state custody and will appear in federal court in Boston at a later date. According to charging documents, investigators executed a search warrant at Kelsey's Brockton residence on October 30th. Prosecutors say that upon seeing law enforcement, Kelsey fled inside the home, locked the door, ran to the basement, and attempted to dispose of the drugs by flushing multicolored pills and other materials. And I think it's the other materials that also wouldn't flush.
I think that is taking it too far. I mean, you're throwing thousands of pills into a toilet. What else you putting down there?
Well, he had they show a picture of the toilet. First of all, he missed the bowl.
Well, we've all done that.
With probably a couple hundred pills to the side there, and no toilet paper in that. You see that holder? There's no toilet paper in that holder in there. None.
Not even like a toilet paper caddy for extra rolls?
No, you know the thing we have upstairs?
Yeah.
In the men's bathroom? That little what you said, caddy or whatever it is? It's one of those, but it's empty. There's nothing in there. At least we have a couple of rolls in there in case you run out while you're there.
Listen, I know the new BJ's opens up in 6 days, but I mean you gotta have some provisions in the house.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Well, there's Costco. There's always there's no Costco near Brockton that you could have gone to.
I suppose. Well, no, there's probably like a BJ's or anyway. Listen, you got 1,000 pills. You're flushing the other things down that toilet. Today's toilet technology. Now they're limited down to 1 gallon. You ever try flushing a 1 gallon toilet?
No.
It's like even in the best situation, it's a 2 flush operation every single time.
Well, you've seen those toilets that they make where you can push the button for if you're going pee.
Number 1 and then number 2.
Because it has the 1 drop and then the 2 drops. I've never seen a pill-shaped button on any of those toilets.
Yeah, right.
Like you're going to need extra flush.
Like your pills, your hypodermic needles, your gauze, all those things.
And I think that's exactly, I don't know what's in that box. It's a little black box that's on top of the pile of pills in the toilet, along with Ziploc baggies. And it's like, how did you think that was ever going to work? You're like Ray Liotta in that scene in Goodfellas where he's like, get rid of the coke, and they're trying to flush it all down the toilet. That's exactly how this scene probably played out.
Now, when the cops arrive and you're in that emergency, should you lock the door behind you and they say, I'm busy in here, I'll be with you in a minute.
I'll be out in a minute. I believe that they take the battering ram and knock the door down to get you out.
Well, okay, so I'm finally looking at I'm finally looking at this toilet. I mean, what are they thinking? Come on.
There's no way in hell you're going to get that down there. No way.
No, I take that back. There does appear to there's no toilet paper, but they do appear to have a plunger to the right of the toilet. Did you not think of using it? Because that's never going down.
Now, I only know my police work from cop shows. When the investigating officer comes in, does he dip his finger in that and then rub it on his tongue going, oh, yeah,
that's
this is
the real
fentanyl."
stuff.
Yeah. What's your name, officer? Detective Lick the Bowl.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they got to go retrieve that stuff in the toilet, too. That's all evidence.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody had to go in there and who knows what's underneath the pills? Like maybe there was a grumpy in there.
There could have been.
And then it's but it's it was sitting right on the top. I didn't notice what was underneath.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's like finding the box, the prize in a Cracker Jack box.
I'm sorry, did you just eat out of the toilet? Well, it was above the rim. You, my friend, are a toilet licker.
If you didn't know that it was fentanyl pills, you'd swear drop the whole box of Lucky Charms down the toilet.
It does look. They're just the marshmallows.
Right.
You know they sell those. Like they sell just the marshmallows. That's what that looks like. Yeah. Somebody got my Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I can see Vince the plumber showing up in a situation like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call Plimpton and Hills, and I'm going to need some extra time at Eddie's Packy before I start working on that one.
Yeah, I believe it's Blumpkin and Hills at that point. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cold. Sunny with a high of 24. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. It is a beautiful 13 degrees in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
When it comes to dairy,
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:49. And Sublime with Bax and Nagel and Rock 102.
Did you just see that come across the listener line?
Hold on a second.
Instead of Plimpton and Hills, I said Blumpkin and Hills, and then it says, no, at that point, it's Blumpkin and Pills.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, it's a Shop Friday this morning at 9 o'clock. If you go to rock102.com, you can save 30% off to Berkshire East Resort. Enjoy great skiing and riding close to home at Berkshire East Resort in Charlemont. They're ready for an unforgettable winter season with 3 mountains and over 400 acres of the best terrain available. That starts at 9 o'clock at the Shop 30 store, rock102.com. Don't miss out. 30% off at Berkshire East. That is a hell of a great deal.
Well, it's the perfect weather for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's now skyrocketed up to a very warm and comfortable 10 degrees.
Yeah, 13 I have.
I got 10. And maybe you're just a little bit closer to the equator than I am, but I got 10.
I am on the south side of the building here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's where the sunshine is beating down on your thermometer.
I don't even know where the direction of this building is. Are we?
I'm not really a classic orienteer.
I have a compass actually on my phone. I should probably use that compass. Let's see where we are. Okay, so I'm actually on the west side. You're on the east side.
Okay,
you're moving on up.
So north is that way.
Nope, south is that way.
South is that way.
North is that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine.
But North Elm Street is to the east. I don't get it.
You just blew my mind.
I got an orienteering badge in Boy Scouts. How have I not figured out? This is the first time I've discovered what direction we're in.
Yeah,
in this building.
Listen, I got the first aid merit badge. I'd be the last person you'd want trying to save your life in a pressure situation.
Please just DNR. Do not mouth to mouth.
I'm not putting my mouth to anything near you.
Call 119.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit 666. Hopefully I get the right guy. As you know, today is a big tribute to John O'Brien. That will continue tomorrow morning during what would normally be the Best of Bax and Nagel. It's really going to be a Best of Bax and O'Brien instead. So, thanks to everybody that's been sending us messages through Facebook and the Route 10 Tire listener line and through email. We appreciate all of it. So, thank you very much.
I don't know. I just never. I didn't think we'd ever have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I just assumed, and we even talked about it at the roast that we had for him.
Yeah.
That, oh, come on. You're going to be here next year, and 10 years from now, it's going to be the 10th annual John O'Brien is Dying Memorial Roast. You know, because it's just, I don't know. You just don't, you feel like you don't, you know, people like live forever and you don't expect them to die. And even though he had the prognosis and all that stuff, it just felt like, okay, well, this is just another thing because of all the crap that he had been through for the last 15 years with the diagnosis, the dog bites, the heart attack, or whatever it was, the heart surgery. He survived all of that. And
I know.
I just, I think there's a portion of me that was like, he's kind of invincible in a way, but nobody is.
Nobody's invincible. And
just,
while he did live 9 lives, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the poor guy suffered through this for almost 14 years. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. He was our Morris the cat.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, you said 9 lives.
Well, I mean, I didn't really mean to, personalize him with a cat, but I mean, I get what you're saying.
You mean a pussy cat?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Because he was, in fact, a 6'4" pussy cat.
Listen, we got a little bit more than an hour left to go in today's tribute. We're going to play back an old John O'Brien's America on Rock 102. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. Are you ready, at least for the part you have done?
Of what?
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome John O'Brien's America.
If people thought 1984 was a year to worry about, thanks to George Orwell, let me tell you something. That year had nothing on 1985. That was a year truly filled with tragedy. Listen to just some of the awful things that happened in the 85th year of the 20th century. Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated. The Federal Building in Oklahoma City was blown up in one of the first acts of domestic terrorism the U.S. had ever seen. The innocent verdict was handed down to O.J. Simpson, an injustice that most white people could not possibly wrap their heads around. Black people, however, thought it was obvious the man was framed, damn it. Waterworld was perhaps the biggest tragedy to appear on the big screen. Apollo 13 was the theatrical reenactment of one of the worst days in NASA history. Speaking of movies, that year, David Letterman hosted the Oscars for the first and last time in what many people felt was a horrible performance. And among the movies receiving awards, the horribly violent Braveheart and the terribly depressing Leaving Las Vegas. More bad news from 1985, The Jenny Craig Show. Now that should be the end of the sentence, but as if the show weren't bad enough, it was made worse when one guest killed another after making a pass on the man on national TV. Also, a sarin gas attack in Tokyo killed a handful of people, and an earthquake in Russia killed 2,000. Perhaps the most tragic thing that happened in 1985 was the inception of what would come to be the highest-rated morning show in the city of Springfield for the longest period of time, even longer if they hadn't stopped paying attention. Yes, 1985 brought the Pioneer Valley the Bax and O'Brien Show. And tonight, we celebrate those 15 years with a party at Max's that you're all invited to, but seating is limited. 15 years is actually longer than my real marriage lasted. And like my marriage, the sex in this relationship is very much the same. There's mace, crying, and then the police are called. 15 years, a decade and a half. I could hardly believe it myself. And I waited until the last week to get hooked on oxycodone and Valium. I guess I have something more to look forward to. This has been John O'Brien's America, which can't possibly go another 15 years. God, tell me that that's not possible. Thank you.
The views expressed in John O'Brien's America failed to take into account that 1985 was actually 25 years ago and not 15.
No!
Thank you.